All right, we've used percent a lot before. We're going to do something a little different here today, and then we're going to work towards using proportions or setting up proportions to find percents, solve for percents. As we know, we've used percents comparing things. We're using them to talk about performance or composition, and we're making a statement here that they're better, a better means to compare things than other measures, right? Because we get everything kind of standard. In this case, we're looking at three quarterbacks, Jackson, Pierce, and Lulay. We're looking at the number of passes they completed, probably in a season here, out of the number of passes they attempted, right? And you'll see these guys attempted different numbers of passes, so the best way to compare their completions is to get a percent. Then we can compare Jackson's percent, Pierce's percent, Lulay's percent. So the question is, which quarterback had the best passing percentage? If we look at Jackson's numbers, he made 23 out of 60 passes. So 23 completed out of 60 attempted, right? That's what we're working with here. So we can set that up as a fraction like this. And I'm just going to use the terminology here so we remember what we're talking about. I'm going to say 23 completed out of 60 attempted. In the past, when we've worked with percent, we've divided those numbers. So let me maybe show you that step here. And that's how we went from a percent to a decimal. So 23 divided by 60 gives us our decimal, 0.3833, right? That's so 0.3833 of the time he made his pass. Now what we want to do with that number is we want to take that number a step further, and this you've probably seen before as well. So 0.383, if we times that by 100%, we can express that decimal as a percent. It equals 38.3%. Sorry, and we're going to put a bar over top of the 3 just to show that 3 is repeating. So one way to get a percent is to start with a fraction, make it into a decimal, and then multiply the decimal by 100 to get a percent. That's one method. The other method that I want to show you today that I would encourage you to start looking at here, because it's going to set you up for more success down the road, is to again start with these numbers, 39 out of 42. Now if we make 39 completed out of 42 attempted, we want to express that as his percent completed out of 100% attempted. Now this you might have heard referred to as the percent box. 39 is or are completed out of 42 attempted, and if you think about the is piece, it always goes in the top left in your percent box. If you think about the out of piece, it goes in the bottom right, bottom left. The percent goes on the top right, and the out of again out of 100% goes in the bottom right. So we're kind of matching things up. This is our proportion again, two equal ratios. 39 out of 42 is going to equal that percent out of 100%. The nice thing about the proportion is we can solve this just like we've solved these in the past. We can cross multiply and then we can divide. So if you set it up, and if you're going to set up the same way every time, and cross multiply and divide to solve this. So we get, in this case, we get 0. Or sorry, we don't get a decimal, we get right to our percent in this case. If you do the math, we get 92.9857. And this is what I wanted to show you here. I was getting confused about my decimals, but we get this ugly repeating decimal, so we're just going to say that equals 92, that would actually round up to 93%. This guy we could round to 39%. All right, Lulay, last quarterback here. Lulay is passing 42 out of 66, completing 42 out of 66 passes. So let's set up a percent box again. And there's those words, right? I was kind of leading you in with the words before, is 42, so the is piece goes top left. Out of 66 goes bottom right. So a lot of people think about the percent box like this. Is of percent 100%. And that's your proportion. That's what you're setting up. So is the 42 that goes in the is spot out of 66. He completes 42 out of 66, so it's going to equal the completed percent out of 100% thrown. We solve that just like we always solve proportions, cross multiply and divide, and that gives us 63.6363 repeating as a percentage, or we could say it's 63.63 repeating. We could use that bar to show that our 63 repeats, or we could round to 64% in this case. Okay, so a couple little things. Keep an eye on those repeating decimals as well. Make sure you know how to use those. Make sure you're like this guy here. We can use the bar. Make sure you're also just setting your proportions up correctly to make it easier for yourself. You got an assignment on the bottom. You guys, good luck.